When night falls in the capital, the police often come here lately. The reason for the constant raids in the milieu: the investigators want to put pressure on the crime scene. The investigators target today, shisha bars in Newcombe.
Put the camera away. I'm gonna break it right now. Put the camera away.
Ich bin die ganze Zeit richtig höflich. Machen Sie die Kamera weg. Punkt Ende.
He's provoking right now.
Lass ihn. Bitte ihr aussetzen, bitte.
Why are you getting upset?
Nee, ich reg mich nicht auf.
No, I'm not upset.
Ich reg mich nicht auf.
The Senator of the Interior, who is responsible for this, is mobilizing above all against large Arab families.
We've looked away too long. Thus, structures have become entrenched that undermine the rule of law because people see that there are criminal structures that believe they do not have to follow rules. In the city, however, there are rules.
Rules that not everyone in the Berlin suburb of Spandau follows. Here, on Falkenhagener Strasse, a clan member terrorizes his neighborhood without the incidents having any significant legal consequences so far. His name, Abdulkadir Osman, 36, with a substantial criminal record. Exactly what this is about is to be discussed on a Wednesday in April. Residents of the house meet to discuss the next steps against the clan member. But first, let's take stock. Everyone describes experiences with the enemy in the house on the lower right.
I first learned about the aggression when my boys were attacked with mace through the kitchen window.
When he sees me, he burps provocatively.
Wait till you feel my hand. Just wait till I go get my brothers. And we are not finished yet.
He wants to be treated like a king, that he owns the whole house, and that we must submit.
In
In the almost 2 years, I have written 57 ads, mainly for damage to property, but also for sexual harassment of my wife, or stalking, but nothing happened.
Police doesn't do anything, city doesn't do anything. I only know that the public order office came and he threatened it. But nothing happens.
The apartment owners have formed a chat group and document everything that happens in the house. Since April 2066, there have been 265 incidents.
These are all incidents, beautifully illustrated with what happened. Take the eggs by the front door, for example. Here the door handle was knocked down with brute force. These are my slashed tires in the locked courtyard. And this is the primer that leaked on my balcony, which could not be removed with the best of intentions.
Hundreds of photos document the everyday life with Mr. Osman and his wife. The couple is far from showing normal civilizing behavior that makes living together possible. The case shows under the burning glass how a clan member violently invades the everyday life of normal people.
Hello, Mr. Osman. What's going on in your house? People are complaining about you. How come? Can you talk? You're usually quite vocal when it comes to insulting your fellow tenants and co-owners.
But Mr. Osman is not always as silent as we will see in a moment. The house in the Falkenhagener Strasse is divided into 16 condominiums. Clan member Osman lives with 6 children and his wife, who can be seen here in the lower right corner. He is only a tenant. They all have access to the garden, which Osman has actually taken over. If it's about his alleged claims, he threatens the clan.
I need 2 cars, and I need them fast. Yalla, I need the Falkenhagener Strasse 64. Call my brothers and cousins too, they should come here.
From Osman's apartment, the retired couple Nish, who lives above him, is attacked preferentially. Here with eggs. Just like that. In broad daylight. Documented by a well-hidden camera. Nishes had bought the apartment 2 years ago, without suspecting who lives there among them.
Here, we can obviously see the eggs that have landed on our balcony. And on the other picture how I was hit by this egg throw.
Over the years, Mr. Nish has built up his very own collection of photographs. To track down the culprit, Nish installs a camera in front of his condominium. Totally legal, but it does not remain undiscovered for long. Here you can see Osman taking the camera down. Filmed with a second camera through the spy hole, which in turn brings up Osman as a clan member. In the following time he regularly destroys the door viewer of the niches. What the pensioner documents and reports.
These door viewers were constantly being smashed in. All around you can still see the spatula surface, because the door was also damaged. I had to replace 13 of them in the last 9 months.
But not only in, but also in front of the house, Osman lives out his right to be ruthless. Someone's parking outside his windows. He can't let that pass. First his wife Fatma on the left looks to see if the coast is clear, then Osman throws eggs at the car. Attention. Now. Even at night the public car park is not safe from Osman and his attacks. The residents have a suspicion.
We have heard that he wants to create fear so that the apartments can be bought cheaply and chewed up by his family.
A suspicion that the Berlin investigators are also currently investigating. This is where the story takes on a whole new dimension, as Abdulkadir Osman is closely related to the Ramos, one of the capital's most powerful families. When one of the most famous criminals of the Berlin demimonde is buried last September, representatives of various Arab clans are of course also present. Here on the right in the picture clan boss Isa Ramo. Next to him, Abdulkadir Osman. Only tolerated in Germany, Osman, nicknamed Tyson-Ali, is a suspect in over 300 cases by Berlin investigators. A criminal resume that fits in well with the rest of the family. The Ramos are associated with a variety of criminal acts. Theft of coins from the Bode Museum is among them, as well as bank break-ins, drug dealing, robbery, money laundering and even murder.
What are you accused of?
Shut up.
The proceeds of criminal robberies were often well invested.
Where it becomes very obvious is in the question of investing in real estate, especially here in Berlin. The real estate market is extremely lucrative. And so we see quite, yes, financial movements towards real estate.
The Ramo clan also buys houses and apartments on a grand scale. In July 2018, financial investigators confiscated 77 properties worth more than €9 million, which are attributed to the extended family. The police assume that all of them were paid with money from crimes. According to Spiegel TV research, the apartment where Osman lives is also involved in money laundering. The flat belongs to the actually penniless Nina Oltmans. With her, Osman also has a child. An inquiry with the 36-year-old clan member.
The landlady of your apartment is also the mother of your child. Is that clan money you've got stashed away there? There are rumors.
After all, the public prosecutor's office is commenting on the money laundering investigations of Spiegel TV.
We are investigating the two people, the 36-year-old man and his partner, on suspicion of money laundering. Both are indigent. In addition, both have criminal records. The man is also substantial. And the woman has acquired 8 properties in the past and has spent several €100,000 on them. And this money for the properties is said to come from criminal activities.
In court, Ms. Oltmans once claimed that she earned €7,000 per year. Did Osman give her the money for an apartment in Berlin's Blomstrasse, for example? The 8 properties are not particularly valuable. But at least they are property, distributed in Berlin, Brandenburg, Saxony and Thuringia. Decently situated, but not in the best condition. The money is said to have come from Lebanon. One of the 8 properties, in which Oltmann's wife and the clan invested, is said to be in Penig, a small town with 10,000 inhabitants in the Saxon province. Apparently the house is even rented.
We're from Spiegel TV. Who owns this house?
A certain Nina Oltmans. And we're just tenants here.
What do you pay a month?
728 euros on average.
The Millers live in the house with 6 children. The state pays rent including energy and water to Oltmann's house owner. She kept all the rent for the warm water and did not pass on the operating costs to the energy suppliers. At some point everything was shut down.
And then we were without gas for a year.
She didn't pay the money to the provider?
Right.
Again the state stepped in. One of the 6 children of the Millers is seriously ill. No heating in winter can have bad consequences. Lively correspondence was the result. But the landlady on behalf of the clans could not pay. Mr. Muller with an overview of the debts.
The outstanding receivables from the gas supply company amounted to 4,241 euros and 15 cents and from water to 884 euros and 57 cents. The total amount of the open receivables is 5,135 euros and 72 cents.
The approximately 170 square meters of the house are hardly habitable. Family man Muller helps himself.
The old wiring, the new.
And you do it all yourself?
Yeah, I have to. Nothing happens by itself.
Frau Oltmans doesn't do it?
No, not at all. This is the ceiling that we hung down ourselves and this is the construction that we retrofitted. Because the cross beam was completely broken here, we had to support it somehow.
Because of their landlady, the Mullers have already had contact with the police.
It was about the suspicion of money laundering. I had an appointment, I wasn't really aware of any guilt so I went there. She got a large sum of money from Lebanon. They wanted to know where the money came from. I said we couldn't say anything about it, since we only knew Mrs. Oltmans from the rent.
Und die wollten eben wissen, wo es herkommt und wie. Ich sagte, da können wir gar nichts dazu sagen. Wir haben nur die Frau Oltmans kennengelernt aufgrund des Hauses, wegen Miete.
The rent for the Mullers, which the job center pays to the clan woman, flows, even though the house has been confiscated 2 years ago for money laundering.
The properties are seized in 2017. Rents will continue. Not good.
That's a problem. How far does the new law go? It's not so long ago that the rights situation changed. We have been given better opportunities, but there are still certain ambiguities, which we believe have been resolved. We can confiscate rental income. We do the same in this case.
Back to Falkenhagener Straße, where the police known Abdulkadir Osman is not alone in terrorizing his neighborhood. Osman's wife Fatma H. also takes part in the attacks on the neighborhood. Only a few days ago she caught pensioner Nish in the hallway. He was shopping, had his hands full and then a black eye. Here I came up the previous week with 2 cases of sparkling wine in my hand, which I held like this. I tried to get past Osman's wife, who was standing down there. At that moment I got her fist in my eye. The case of sparkling wine flew down the stairs. Then she turned around and shouted out loud, "Why are you hitting me?"
Did you hit her?
I didn't hit her. I've never hit anyone before. An obvious tactic of Osman. He pretends that the neighbors are attacking him. Here are recordings of a screaming attack.
What do you want from me? Leave me alone. Leave me alone. What do you want from me? This can't be happening. Leave me alone.
On the 30th of April, the owners of the flats try to go to court again. In a civil case they sued Mrs. Oltmans. It is about all the incidents of her tenant Osman.
Are you excited?
Yes, pretty excited, because we have worked so long for this day and hope that we will now at least get some support from the justice system. And that we won't lose the last shred of faith in the rule of law. The other side is responsible for the lawyer Flodo. Here in conversation with the judge and with Spiegel TV.
Is this a media circus?
This is a media circus.
Are you planning to give interviews?
You don't want to give interviews? Why not? Is your client coming?
No.
So what do you think of the case?
What part of, I'm not giving an interview, did you not understand?
The lawyer denies the accusations of the house community. In the following hearing he refers to the alleged xenophobia of the inhabitants of the Falkenhagener Strasse. After 2 hours everything is already over again. Again without judgment. It is adjourned.
What do you say to the accusations? Nothing. Mr. Flotto, you accuse the tenants of xenophobia. Do you stand by that?
If that's what I said, then I guess that's what I'll stand by, yes.
Last Wednesday morning, the rule of law strikes back. Just now, at 6 o'clock sharp, policemen entered the apartment of Abdulkadir Osman and his partner Fatma H. The investigating officers from the police section 21 are joining them. Osman was still asleep when the ram unhinged the front door. Also on the scene, the LKA's financial investigators, who are investigating money laundering. Nobody is allowed to talk about the exact background of the search.
Can you please go? This is a crime scene.
Fine.
Then the phenomenon patrol of the LKA 641 leaves the crime scene. No one knows the milieu better than these men. For security reasons, we have disguised all policemen involved in the raid. It wouldn't be the first time in Berlin that clan members chased after policemen. After 3 hours, it's all over. As soon as the last investigator has left, Abdulkadir Osman comes out and shows presence.
How are you? How was it this morning? Mr. Osman. Can you understand that the police came into your place?
The police finally gives their opinion. Osman will also be involved.
In the house behind us there are more and more crimes, disputes between neighbors in the course of which insults, damage to property and similar crimes are committed. And that is why the suspect was searched today.
What is he charged with?
In detail, there are several crimes for which the suspect is charged. I cannot really point out each of them individually, but the current proceedings are about damage to property and violation of the secrecy of correspondence.
What do you say to the accusations, Mr. Osman? What kind of performance is this? This is the defendant.
I do not know him personally yet.
It's quite an unusual situation that such a clan member just stands next to it in the background.
Well, I don't have a problem with that personally. Anyone can stand in front of it. It's common practice in other situations, at meetings, at searches. There is always someone standing around and listening to what is being said, so it is not an unusual situation for me now.
Why are you standing next to him, Mr. Osman?
Osman is not going to be given up. The day before yesterday he wouldn't let the Nish family leave the house again.